So I gotta put the music on pause. You know, that was that Dave East and Stove God Cooks. I'm the one, not the two, baby. You heard? So you already know how we do, man. I'm at the crib, getting it right. You know what I mean? You know how we do. We are episode 108 of the TCK Web3 News Roundtable, y'all. This is another, to me, this is another notch under the belt, man. You know what I'm saying? 108. Because you ask me, numbers play a big role in everything we do, right? So 108, 1 plus 8 equals 9. In numerology, that's my life number right there. My life path number is 9. So, welcome to the TCK Web3 News episode 108. This is your boy T.Gold. We got my co-host, Just Cheeze, back on. We got E3 as the other co-host. You know what I mean? We got to shout out to the ladies. Because it is Women's History Month. That's right, y'all. It is Women's History Month. So, I need all of y'all to just hug and give a shout out to any woman in your life, whether it be your mom, whether it be your girlfriend, your wife, your sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to just tell y'all like this, man. There's been a lot of phenomenal women in my life that's been holding me down, you know. Shout out to my grandma, you know what I mean. I'm at the crib, so I kind of want to show y'all my altar or whatever, but, I don't want to mess up the flow of everything. But I do got an altar, to my left. It got my ancestors on there, Got my mom on there, my aunt, my niece, But these are some of course, my grandmother and my godmother. So can't forget Mocha too, man. That was like my college sweetheart. You know what I mean? She was cool, man, but she passed away in a car accident about 3 years ago. So I say all that to say this. This is Women's History Month, y'all. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking about all of the choices that has been made by women who came before me to make sure that I was here. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I have a role to play, an important role to play in educating people in this space about Web3, blockchain, AI, and 3D printing too, But I feel like it's a responsibility and a duty, especially from the era that I'm from too. So I don't want to make it too personal. Just know that shout out to all the ladies. Shout out to all the women in Web3. Shout out to Sharita on here. You know what I mean? So we got to big her up. Shout out to Bleu. Shout out to NFTia. These are some of the co-hosts and former co-hosts of the TCK Web3 News podcast. So we got to give those ladies a big shout out. You know what I'm saying? Also, we got to shout out Cass Vegas. You know what I mean? Because today is specifically International Women's Day. Okay, so if you didn't know that, today is International Women's Day. So I'm going to give another big shout out to women like Vu, who's from like South Africa. You know what I mean? So, she represents, ABC internationally. And, man, there's a lot of ladies at ABC. We got Ashley, we got Layla, we got Shayla, Nia, Gia, obviously Tia, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ladies at ABC who are builders too, you know what I mean? So shout them out. And again, shout out to Sharita. She's on here representing A1 Digital, you know what I mean? Get that book. It's the Industrial Fourth Revolution, y'all. That's what's taking place right now, So she got a book. And it's Guardians of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, specifically, that's her book, and it's talking about blockchain and AI, So that's what we do here, y'all. I got to get my guy, E3, to pull up, because he's gonna be the co-host today. So I gotta shout out my co-host, Just Cheeze. He's back in town. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy about that. You know, he had a dope vacation. He was out there on a cruise with the fam. You know what I mean? So that's super dope, man. And I'm gonna give y'all a quick rundown on some of the topics we're gonna talk about today, y'all. All right. So the first thing I gotta mention, man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Shout out to NFTia because she was able to get this thing cracking with ETH Global and ABC. We got happy hour. It's a Web3 mixer that's going down on March 19th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right, so that's at the Rice Center. All right, that's off of Northside Drive across the street from Pascal's Restaurant. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful, beautiful facility. We were there last Thursday. Was our very first time there as far as ABC hosting a off the chain Thursdays at the Rice Center. So to me, it was a special moment. You know, Marlon held down the session, and plus he had on the Blockchain Boy shirt on. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the Web3 wavy pieces of merchandise I designed, man. So he set it off rocking one of the shirts, and on the back it said, "The revolution will be tokenized." You heard? So I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Hop on igetbusy.com to get you some fresh merch, man. I'm about to drop some new tees up on there too for the spring. You heard? Cause spring is like 3 days away. No, excuse me, 3 weeks away or something like that, right? Not even that, like 2 weeks away. It's like the 21st. And on top of that, if you didn't know and you felt like something was off today and you woke up a little bit later than anticipated, well, guess what? The clocks is march forward, man. You know what I'm saying? The time moved forward. So, you know, it kind of messed me up from 2 o'clock. And then just all of a sudden, it was supposed to be 2 and it was 3. I was like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So I'm sure I'm not the only one that felt a little, you know what I'm saying? It just felt a little crazy. You know, that transition of the time change is always crazy to me. I know a lot of people don't like it too. Some states, they actually trying to shoot that shit down. So, man, oh man. All right, we got to get my guy E3 up here.
I'm here.
Got you. There you go. On my end, it still got you as a listener, but I'm glad you up here, brother. How you doing? What's going on? Tell me how your weekend was.
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Good to see everybody here. My weekend was good, actually. For the most part, I was just chilling in a little bit. Last night, I got to finally experience the F1 thing. I went with Joe originally, but that day I went. Traffic was so crazy, and I missed my exit, so it went from being like 10 minutes to 40 minutes, and I was like, man, I'm gonna miss the simulation race. But
Crazy.
yesterday it was Justin's birthday, so we went out to the F1 thing to celebrate JB's birthday. And funny thing is, again, me and Tarek got there before Justin even got there, and we were outside, and they were like, well, tonight is going to be a $10 cover fee to get in. And we were like, $10 to get in. And I was like, that's kind of stupid to get into this F1 thing. And then Tarek, he went back to the guy and started talking to him, and he gave us the rundown. He was like, oh, well, if you pay the $10, you get to use the simulation things for free. And usually every time you use the simulation, it's like $20 per person. So we did like 3 races for free. And then right before we walked in to pay, the guy just opened the door for us and gave us the thing for free. So we were like, hey, I'm not even going to say nothing. So it was a good weekend, though, overall. Had a good time, chilled out, did a little work. So, yeah.
Nah, that's dope, man. That's dope, man. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to the F1, arcade. I know Cheese went there, and I know you said you had missed the exit that time, so it kind of threw you off. But yeah, Atlanta traffic been crazy lately. But yeah, we got to throw an event down there, man. F1. I believe they got to deal with like Hedera or something like that. You know what I mean? So we gotta try to do some blockchain events out there, man. So yo, shout out to everybody. Again, I ain't even gonna lie. I got to shout out Terminus Dow, man. That event was dope, man. That shit was dope. I had a good time. last Saturday, man. You know what I mean? So everybody came out. Everybody, well, not everybody, but it was a good amount of people. It was about a good 80 people, and half of the ABC family, couldn't make it just because of like traffic and other obligations. But we still had like 80 people in the building, so that shit was dope. So I'm looking forward to the next one, y'all. So
Oh yeah, we got a lot in the pipeline. We're building this stuff out right now, so just be on the lookout.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We definitely will keep our eye out for that and any social media, posts that you got. Tag us and we'll definitely repost that. Cause Terminus Dow, man, I think it's gonna be a great evolution of what our last Dow was, but just like a sprinkle of how ABC does it. You know what I mean? Because ABC, man, we resilient, man. So we know how to build in the bear market. Obviously, market is volatile right now. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin is back to like 67K or something like that. Ethereum is under 2,000. It's around 1,900 right now. So it's a lot of fear right now. Fear in the world, man. We got this war in Iran going on. We don't know how long this is gonna last. So obviously, when there's uncertainty in the market, people are gonna be selling, man. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into some of the topics too, man. Shout out to Just Cheeze. I don't know if he's available to speak, man, but if you can, anytime, throw your hand up, and the floor is yours. Cause yeah, man, we going on 108 episodes, man, of doing this, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be good to hear Cheese's perspective coming back from vacay, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure he got some ideas brewing. And I'm gonna tell y'all like this before this show is over. Everybody who's watching on YouTube and Instagram, for your visual pleasure, I will give y'all exclusive first looks at some of the. Can't wait for y'all to see it. World Cup mint and marquee 3D printed designs that we got cooking up, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait for y'all to see that, man. I'm gonna bring some up to the Right Center, man, for our next ABC off the chain Thursday sessions, man. I'm gonna bring up the World Cup shit so y'all can get ready for that, man. Just to let y'all know we ain't playing, man. The World Cup is like 3 months away, but we are definitely cooking. You know what I mean? I got some new t-shirt designs I'm cooking, man. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I'm looking forward to that. So
Oh yeah, T.Gold. My bad, not even cut you off, man. I did see this last event I went to the other day. This guy, he was I'm gonna take a picture, but he's a 3D printer person too, and he was actually making these little like NFC, Coinbase, Ethereum, and like Cash App things. And I was like, I think y'all could definitely, you know, do something with that type of concept.
oh yeah, for people who need to have like a business display. Oh yeah, we definitely got some 3D printed files. We got a lot of files cooked up. I was just looking at the amount of files that we got on the back burner, man. It's over 300 files, man. And y'all seen a good probably 2 dozen because we've been cooking up. But man, just know that we will have a lot more designs cooking up. So I appreciate that, E3. Just know that, yeah, we're going to incorporate those business display signs. So get you a custom business display sign. Everybody at ABC should have one. You know what I'm saying? We're going to cook that up for them so they can tap there. We got the NFC chips and everything. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely cooking on that. I appreciate that, E3. So, without further ado, or to do, let's talk about some of the topics. All right, let's talk about some of the topics. First, Trump got a cyber strategy that he pledges support for security for cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Florida Senate approves the first stablecoin bill. Now it's awaiting Governor DeSantis' signature. All right. Also, we're gonna talk about investor withdrawals that has been. This is so funny. This is the first time it ever happened for BlackRock. Has been limited. Customer withdrawals. Understand what I'm saying? BlackRock is the biggest financial asset manager on the world. in the world. In the world, Craig. And they have limited people's withdrawals along with Blackstone. Man, listen, that's not a good sign. And we also going to talk about Kraken. They're actually launching a platform called the Exchange for tokenized stocks. So Kraken, they partnered up with X Stocks and they're doing tokenized real world equities like stocks, ETFs, you know, and private companies as well too. You know what I mean? So I think that's gonna be pretty dope. And we gotta talk about this is some controversial shit right here. I hope y'all saw this. But scientists, they have trained human brain cells to learn how to play Doom. It took about a week. I got some deep thoughts on that. And the funniest story this whole week, the original Penguin brand, I'm sure you probably seen it before, right? Because it's like a fashion. It's a little penguin. Kind of looked distorted. It's been around forever. They hit Pudgy Penguins with a copyright infringement. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell y'all like this. This is probably the most flagrant foul on a copyright infringement case I've ever seen in my life. We're going to get into the details of that, man. But if you look at the original, if you just do a quick Google on original Penguin and then look at the Pudgy Penguin and tell me if you see this Pudgy Penguin I'm actually sitting next to right now. You know what I'm saying? And the other one I got over there, the vinyl. I got a Pudgy Penguin sitting next to me. So just Google the original Penguin and tell me if y'all think this shit look the same. I just thought that was funny, y'all. So those are some of the topics that we're gonna get into today, y'all. So yeah, man. Shout out to everybody tapping in, man. Live on X, live on Instagram, and live on YouTube. Y'all appreciate that. All right. So we're gonna get right into it. So let's talk about it. All right. So the first topic is the new U.S. national cybersecurity strategy released by the administration of Donald Trump now formally includes support for the security of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, marking one of the first times digital assets have been referenced in an official U.S. cyber policy framework. All right, so the strategy places blockchain security alongside emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and quantum computing, signaling that decentralized finance infrastructure is viewed as part of America's broader technological and national security landscape. So the policy outlines plans to strengthen critical infrastructure, modernize federal cybersecurity systems, promote international cooperation against cybercrime, and support advancements like post-quantum cryptography and secure AI systems. Honestly, man, even a broke clock is right twice a day. I really like this. I really like this mainly because they're taking blockchain and crypto very seriously, and they're actually having some cybersecurity, you know, legislation that has been introduced to try to make sure America is protected in this space. You know what I'm saying? Because we know AI is part of this war. You know, we see what happened, you know, with Anthropic and the Pentagon. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I think it was last week. We probably talked about the past 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because it's a hot topic. So AI is in this war. So with that being said, I feel like cybersecurity is definitely a necessary thing that we need to have in this space, in particular with quantum computing. Now, some of these blockchains will be quantum computing resistant. They will work on the technology. I believe Ethereum, they got a bounty, for any individual who can help create some kind of quantum resistant protocol on the Ethereum blockchain, just prevent it from being hacked. It's going to be a lot of tokenized assets. It's going to be on this chain. A lot of stable coins are built on this chain. So I think this is a great, I ain't even gonna say I think, this is a great thing that the United States is doing. It's an ill pivot from the Epstein files, Trump. I see you. I see what you're doing. Aliens, war, you know what I'm saying? Trying to make sure the crypto community is safe. I get what you're doing, bro. But we ain't gonna forget them fucking Epstein files. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta ask my co-hosts and my listeners, man, what's your thoughts on basically Trump administration pledging his support for cybersecurity for blockchain and crypto? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to start off by saying that I think this is actually forward thinking. I think that it's actually nice to see my bad. I think it's actually nice to see the U.S. taking this into consideration for the long term, because sometimes the U.S. will wait until something is bad to fix it, and then they'll try to duct tape and glue it together and kick the can down the road. So it's like they're really considering they're taking the precautions and security in mind now. So when it does come in the future, when say attacks or things could possibly be prevalent, like we will be secured and prepared for those type of situations. So you already know that AI is here to stay. So, and blockchain is here to stay. So with them having this like cybersecurity council or whatever it's called, looking into how they can secure it and make sure it's prepared for the future, is a good thing on my boat. So it is funny that you bring up the thing about Epstein too, because I was thinking to myself too, like Trump probably would have started this war or something crazy like that just to make the people forget about him possibly, or I'm not even going to say possibly, but about these Epstein files and shit like that. It's crazy, man.
Man, that boy in them files, man, heavy, over 38,000 times.
Can you hear me?
Oh, my bad, man. I was speaking on mute. They ain't want me to talk my shit. But nah, that boy in them Epstein files heavy, over 38,000 times. 38,000 times.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean?
Man, I'm not even gonna get down that rabbit hole, but I've been hearing some things about like between that period of like 1999 and 2001 that like they wiped out files saying Epstein is possibly related to the 9/11 attacks. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not gonna go down that right now.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you like this. I heard some rumblings of that. For some reason, there was another 9/11 commission that Ghislaine Maxwell was on. How the fuck was she on? First of all, how the fuck was there another 9/11 commission? Like a shadow commission. And she was on that motherfucker. We ain't gonna go there. Yo, listen, man. There's been shit that I had no idea that Epstein was gonna be tied to. The rabbit hole just goes so deep, and there's so many other tunnels connected to this fucking rabbit hole. Man, listen, it's gonna take a while to sort through all this shit. And they didn't even release all the files.
Literally, I wouldn't even put that past the U.S. government. Like, we already know their history. Like, they supported the Contras, supporting the crack epidemic. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. government did some type of deal where they were like this, but,
Man, listen. I'm going to just tell you like this. In this day and age, try to stay as positive as you can, because there's so much doom and gloom on the news. This is like, think about what happened at the start of the year. What happened? Venezuela's president and his wife got taken out of their home in the middle of the night and got captured by the U.S. We just took over a whole country at the top of the year, right? Now, what do we got? One of the biggest drug cartels. We basically had it out with them and took out their leader in Mexico. In Mexico, they got like their own little civil war going on between the Mexican cartel and the Mexican military. Like, the shit is crazy over there. We just took out. Yeah, we just took out Iran's leader, Ayatollah Khomeini. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, this is just month 3, and we still got a whole what? We got more than 2 years left of Trump. We got 2 years and 9 months left of Trump, and this is how he's starting off his second year. So I'm gonna just tell you like this, man. You already know how we do every time on the TCK Web3 news. We're going to touch on topics that are crypto related, but because of my particular industry of journalism, I have to pay attention to everything. You know what I'm saying? I have to pay attention to everything. So just know that we will continue to talk about what's going on in the war. And even if it don't relate to crypto, we still gonna have to talk about it, because one way or another, it's gonna be something is gonna relate to this. Something this indirectly is still gonna relate. And I want people to just be informed. We talk about crypto 90% of the time on this, but we talk about other things that I just need y'all to be informed on. I want everybody to know how far our government is going into war, like straight war mode at the top of the year. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody in the military too, y'all. I got a cousin whose daughter, she graduated high school. Not even a year into high school, she's already enlisted. She was enlisted into the Navy as soon as she got out of high school. So shit, she was already, what they call that? When they send them to war. You know what I'm saying? They basically just already sent her to war. You know what I'm saying? Fresh out of high school, man. So shout out to everybody in the military, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the veterans. I hope they treat y'all better, man. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Cheeze, if you're available, floor is yours. I'm gonna invite Sharita, because I want to hear her thoughts, because this is Women's History Month as well. So I'm gonna.
I got a side note real quick. Completely unrelated.
Go ahead, E3.
I think it's kind of a shameful thing. I'm not the one to judge for real, but there is this guy I know, and he and his girl are in Columbus, and he's aspiring. He wants to be a rapper and everything and all that. And the girlfriend, she went to school, got her degree, and is doing all this stuff. She plays sports in college. But the boyfriend, which I'm surprised she was with, I'm just like crazy that she's with him. But he wants to be a rapper and everything. And she just enlisted to join the Air Force.
Damn.
But he still wants to be a rapper and take care of the kid at home. But I was like, shouldn't it be the opposite way around? Shouldn't he be joining the military and taking? I just thought it was crazy and random, but.
Yo, E3, that is funny. That is random, but that you just letting us know the temperature of the kind of individuals that's in this world right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the roles are like damn near reversed, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the dude should be enlisting for the military. So I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I'm a traditional dude. I understand certain roles can be, certain responsibilities can be taken up by both parents. I get that, but there's certain things that I will not. When I was married, when I was engaged, there's certain things I didn't let my wife or my ex-fiance do. I'm cleaning their cars. I'm getting their cars repaired. Doing landscaping outside. I'm doing the trash. I'm doing the physical moving shit. I don't want my woman to do that or my daughters to do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dude, you want to be a rapper. That's cool. Go to war and come back and be an even iller rapper because now you got more shit to rap about. And, you know, a lot of people now, especially rappers, they be on some drill shit. The drill music is all about killing. These drill rappers need to be signed up to the military. That's a whole that's a whole other story I don't even want to get into right now, man. But that's just funny. It's a good point though, E3. So yeah, all right, boom. I sent Sharita an invite, so hopefully she'll get a chance to speak. Just because it is Women's History Month, and you know it'd be nice to hear a woman's voice up here. And I know Bleu, she has some family business to take care of, so she couldn't hop up on the spaces today. But Sharita, feel free whenever you want to discuss something or share your thoughts. All right. So let's talk about the next subject, the next story. All right. Florida is doing something spectacular. I gotta give Florida some props, man. Florida lawmakers have passed a major stablecoin regulation bill, that's Senate Bill 314, sending it directly to Ron DeSantis for final approval and marking the state's first comprehensive framework for payment stablecoins. Okay? I think that's pretty dope. The legislation requires stablecoin issuers operating in Florida to follow financial regulations, prohibits unlicensed stablecoin issuance, and clarifies that certain payment stablecoins will not be treated as securities under state law. So oversight will be handled by Florida's Office of Financial Regulation with potential coordination from federal regulators like the OCC, while companies based outside the state must notify regulators before operating there. All right. So the bill also restricts stablecoin issuers from offering yield if federal rules prohibit it. All right, and it's part of Florida's broader push to become a crypto-friendly state, which it is. All right, I really like this. You know, states like Texas, Arizona, Wyoming, Nevada, they really getting into, you know, blockchain technology, paying out some of their employees in crypto and stable coins. Some people can have their, if you're a federal employee, you'll be able to take some of your retirement funds and have the ability to put that into crypto. So that's happening. So they're having reserve bills. A lot of states are putting Bitcoin reserve bills forward. So this is another step forward in that direction, man. So dealing with stable coins. And I really like this. This is another positive story for crypto, even though the market doesn't reflect, you know, this positive sentiment. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's turmoil right now in the world. So because it's crazy and it's very unpredictable, there are it's the best time to dollar cost average and to double down on what worked for you the last, you know, bear market. You know, if you had a particular strategy, you know, you invested in certain cryptos, because there are certain altcoins that are like 30% away from their all-time lows. This is kind of disgusting. And like Tia said, you know, we had like a phantom altcoin season, which was crazy. So who knows, man? If it's a phantom, that means it left unexpectedly and it might pop up unexpectedly. Who knows? So, you know, keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Shout out to Jesse Jackson. Rest in peace to the Reverend, man. Word up. Keep hope alive, man. You know, so that's where Obama got that from. He got that from Jesse. You know, he's the first black man to run for president. So, E3 and anybody else who wants to share their thoughts, tell me what's your thoughts about Florida approving its first stablecoin bill.
Yeah, again, I thought that this was forward thinking. It's really cool to see that Florida is actually coming up with their own regulatory framework for how like private stablecoins will operate within those borders. I actually compared it to Wyoming too, because I was like, how do these two compare? Because the article said it's the first state to do the regulatory framework. So I was like, wait, wasn't Wyoming the first to do that? But The difference is that Wyoming just issued their own state stablecoin for like generating revenue to take care of like state expenditures or maybe like donating to schools and stuff that I read. But for Florida to be actually taking the time to create their own framework versus just their own stable coin is pretty cool to see. I think that they can serve as an example for other states to possibly follow. Now, in the long term, I was wondering though that this does open the door to probably like bigger privacy concerns for people, and knowing now the state will have like extreme control over like finances because now Florida may be able to like control what your money is actually being used for and stuff like that. But that's the benefit of educating yourself on how to move outside of the traditional system that's even being created now. But I just thought that this was setting a standard and interesting to see Florida taking those first steps.
Now that's a great point that you highlight, what Wyoming is doing because they also have their stable coin as well. So, set up slightly different, but hey, the adoption of blockchain technology is here. Crypto ain't going nowhere. So we definitely applaud states like Wyoming and Florida for, just doing their thing when it comes to specifically stable coins, because I believe those two states got the stable coin, legislation or bills, being passed. Like Florida, we just waiting for DeSantis to sign off on it, and they got it. You know what I'm saying? So this is interesting, man. This is interesting. I appreciate that, E3.
Yeah, no, and I mean, even when it comes to the other projects, because I don't know if you guys remember a long time ago, the City Coin. I didn't do much research into it, but I think Miami had their own City Coin. I don't know where that went as of today, but maybe with this new Florida stablecoin regulation, individual cities can have their own issued stablecoins to help with city-related issues or expenditures.
I love that you brought that up too, because I forgot about that Miami City Coin, and when I had posted about it, because that was an article that was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. That was a while ago, but I'm glad you brought that up. That might have been like a pilot Miami City Coin, because I know what they were doing. They were using it for like municipalities, so people would be able to pay their utility bills, and if you had a ticket, you can pay the ticket with the Miami City Coin. So, like you said, I haven't heard much about that coin now, but that might have just been a pilot like project for the state of Florida before they issued a statewide stablecoin. So great point, E3. I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, no, I mean, also, because isn't Florida like anti-CBDC? So like, if this framework passes, wouldn't that like let other states allow more like private sectors to grow versus them having their own stablecoin like Wyoming? I think that's like I don't know why, but I just feel like that would be a better framework to have like private sectors allow more like commerce to occur versus just one state stablecoin for like specific reasons.
Nah, that's also a great point. That's also a great point. When it comes down to it, each state might have a slightly different structure when it comes down to it. I think, like you mentioned, Florida, they don't even pay federal tax. They pay state tax. So with just that being said, the way they set up their stable coins is probably going to look different from other states that have to pay, federal tax. And when the United States rolls out, because we already got the Genius Act, that's literally for stable coins, but the Clarity Act is more so classifying, what cryptocurrencies are securities and which ones are commodities. But still in all, we still need federal regulated stablecoin framework that is working for us, because we know right now the banks, they're trying to undermine the Genius Act by now not allowing us to have yield. So like Florida stated in this, well, the article stated that Florida wanted to go with whatever the government said. If the government said that, they prohibit, yield bearing stable coins, then it is what it is. The Florida would have to, abide by that. But I just know that that was a great point. I appreciate that, E3. Thank you, man. Man, if anybody else want to make any comments, feel free to tap in. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate that. We appreciate all comments. And you know what? I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to tell you like this. This is highly alarming to know that the largest financial institution, as far as asset management, BlackRock, had limited their customer withdrawals. Let's talk about this, man. It was BlackRock and Blackstone. So let's talk about it. So two of Wall Street's largest asset managers, BlackRock and Blackstone, are facing growing investor withdrawal issues from their major private credit funds, highlighting raising concerns about liquidity risks in the roughly $2 trillion private credit market. All right, so this is their private credit market investors. All right, so BlackRock recently limited withdrawals from its $26 billion HPS corporate lending fund after investors requested about $1.2 billion in redemptions, approving only part of the request due to quarterly withdrawal limits designed to avoid forced sales of illiquid loans. Sounds like these people ain't sitting on the money that they say they got. Meanwhile, Blackstone's $82 billion BCRED fund recorded its first quarter of net outflows of $3.7 billion in withdrawals, prompting the firm to temporarily raise redemption limits and inject about $400 million of its own capital. What are they doing with all this money? They must be mismanaging it, because if you're managing trillions of dollars, and for BlackRock to only have 1.2 billion in redemptions, and then they put like limitations on how much these people can cash out and withdraw from their accounts, and then for Blackstone to inject about $500 million, 400 million of their own capital, so they can handle the $3.7 billion in withdrawals. These are the largest asset management companies, and they don't have what they say they got. If the big banks ain't got it, what do you think is going to happen to the little banks? So I think this might be the start of something ugly. All right? So be careful out there, folks. Be careful out there, folks. That's why in crypto, we encourage people to be the custodian of their own digital assets. You have to be responsible, but try to do that, because situations like this, people trying to get their money out and they limiting how much you can take out, it's going to be an issue for some people. E3, what's your thoughts on this, brother?
I was going to say 100%. Even with us moving to this new digital age, we can't emphasize enough that, you do need to educate yourself on how to move in this world of blockchain. Yeah, it's cool that the banks and stuff will be able to manage your assets for you and keep it, quote, safe, but it's like, you're still just re-entering into like new system 2.0. So, this private credit situation, based on what I was reading, it was showing or telling us basically, like these are early stressor signs for like a broader issue. I mean, we already know what's going on globally, and with this like current market sentiment with surrounding AI and all this stuff. So to the normal investors, or maybe the people that are in these funds, I know that they're probably sophisticated, but still, people they hear the news, they get worried, and they want to have their money on hand. And what I was reading was that the amount of money that people were trying to take out was like equaling like 9.7%, which is above what for BlackRock at least. I saw that they only allow like 5% to be withdrawn withdrawn every quarter. So that was the amount that people wanted to withdraw was way above their quarterly amount. So yeah, I just think that these are early warning signs for us to be concerned about. And I've already been hearing a lot of stuff surrounding like the private credit narrative and how these people are like backdooring each other and closing deals or backtracking deals, I should say. And yeah, if it's getting to this point where like the big players can't even guarantee the money, it's only a matter of time before the smaller banks, which rely on these guys, start feeling it too. So I think, wasn't it something in Chicago, a bank had fell or I forgot the proper term, but like they basically ran out of money or something a few months ago. I think, wasn't that like a big bank in Chicago?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the bank, E3, but I appreciate that commentary right there. Yeah, there was another small bank that went under. So that was a telltale sign of something is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now, whatever happened to fractional reserve banking where they were at least supposed to have 15%? Or did Barry tell us that they just recently changed that and they're not required to have the 15%? So that's why they were just like, yeah, we can just loan out, we people only withdraw, this is private these are private companies, you know what I'm saying, that are doing this as far as credit funds. These aren't like regular retail investors. So these are big corporations and big companies that entities that's trying to withdraw their money and they can't get their money out. Man, shit. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I think the fractional reserve thing you mentioned isn't like a requirement no more.
Trash, yo. These banks can do whatever the hell they want with our money. And shit, they already got bailed out. You know what I'm saying? When they mismanage funds. You know what I'm saying? With the subprime mortgage lending shit that happened, that whole debacle that happened in 2008. That's the reason why Bitcoin was created. But hey, listen, man, we will continue to monitor the situation and see if there's any other asset management companies or any other banks that might happen to go under because they're insolvent, So, man, it's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. That's why we start out with positive news at the top of at the top of this, man, because hopefully we won't have any no major issues in our financial system, but I don't know. It look like we're showing cracks right now in the system. So, shout out to Marlon Williams, founder of the Atlanta Blockchain Center. He has a platform, a mini app on the World Coin platform, on the World app, because they're no longer called World Coin. It's the World app. And real assets. These are real tokenized assets. Private companies, tokenized stocks that you can buy within the WorldCoin app. So shout out to Marlon for doing that. Thought that was phenomenal, man. He got a lot of great traction, a lot of good momentum with that, man. So shout out to that brother for that. So that leads us into the next article that we're going to get into, which is Kraken. All right, so Kraken has launched a new on-chain trading engine called X-Change. That's just the letter X in the word change, to power tokenized equity trading on its X-Stocks platform, allowing users to trade blockchain-based versions of traditional stocks and ETFs directly on networks like Ethereum and Solana. All right, so that's pretty dope. All right. The system supports more than 70 tokenized assets, including digital versions of companies like Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA, as well as S&P 500 ETFs, with real-time pricing tied to traditional markets and atomic settlements that ensures trades execute fully or not at all. These X stocks tokens represent one-to-one backed shares held in custody, enabling investors to gain equity exposure while using crypto infrastructure and potentially integrating the assets into DeFi applications. You see how the restrictions are placed on the crypto industry? Like anything that's tokenized have to be backed one to one to give it its value. If you're tokenizing a real world asset, it's a derivative essentially of a real asset, but you have to have something to back it. All of these tokenized stocks on Kraken, Coinbase is doing it now. But it's required for them to have the one-to-one backing, whether it's cash, whether it's bonds, whether it's treasuries, doesn't matter. You need something to back up these assets, these derivatives. So just like we mentioned with the banks, they should at least, I think 15% was still short. I think they should have at least 50%. You know what I'm saying? But they don't. They don't have 50% of our money. So they call it a bank run when people start withdrawing money from the banks. So and that's the reason why they implemented, having the fractional reserve banking, just because if there's a bank run, it's not likely 15% of all of the investors are going to run to the bank to get their money. But if that happens, they can cover that. But I like what Kraken is doing. I like what Coinbase is doing. Coinbase and Robinhood, they also get into tokenized stocks. So this is a new thing. The benefits to tokenized stocks, because a lot of people ask, why do I need a tokenized stock when I can just buy a real one? Well, you buy a real stock, you can only trade within stock trading hours, Monday through Friday, which is like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. After that, you can't make any transactions. You can trade futures, but the market don't open up until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, right? Closes at 4. With tokenized equities, whether stocks, tokenized real world assets, ETFs, you can trade these 24/7. Now, Coinbase is doing a 24/5 thing. So that means around the clock, Monday through Friday, you can trade. You can trade stocks. So I guarantee you, there are going to be a lot of traditional stock brokerage companies that end up going to do this. I can definitely see this. So big up to Kraken, big up to Coinbase, big up to Robinhood, and big up to Marlon with the WorldCoin platform that he has real assets on that you can buy tokenized assets on that platform. So check that out. E3, what's your thoughts on this, sir?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool to see Kraken entering this alleyway, for real. I haven't really been a person that paid attention to stocks and stuff like that, but now I'm realizing that it's just important to be well versed in the finance space altogether. Because once I got into crypto, there was a point where I just completely tuned out anything related to stocks. But now I'm realizing, I still got to educate myself on how this stuff works. But for Kraken to provide this option for individuals that may not be interested in getting into like the crypto world like that, I think it's a cool way to attract users. So now not only will people have access to a new way of trading stocks, but like they were saying, it'll be instantly with their atomic settlement, which is really cool. I think people really like that, knowing that it's instantaneous. And also, people can talk about, hey, look, I have like a tokenized stock. So it just makes it a little bit more interesting. But too, just for the convenience, I think it's cool for people that are invested in crypto as well to have this option to now buy tokenized stocks. So they could probably use use one central platform versus going to all these other platforms to get their needs out of the way.
E3, you highlighted a great point. Because, not to put your age on blast, but you are, early, mid 20s. And for you to mention how, the youth in your generation, y'all might be tapped out of, the stocks. Y'all not really, stocks ain't really y'all thing like that. But crypto is. So you're saying now this gave you another perspective on looking at diversifying your investments into stocks now, because you have the ability to trade tokenized stocks like you would trade a meme coin, 3 o'clock in the morning, So I like the fact that you highlighted that, and like you stated, it gives you an initiative to start looking into trading stocks. So that's dope, man. So that means it's working, man. That means cracking in Robinhood and Coinbase, what you're doing with tokenized, equities. It's happening, man. It's happening in real time, and E3 is a testament to that, man. So I appreciate your thoughts on that, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Why wouldn't they make it 20? Why won't they just go ahead and make it 24/7 though? I mean, 24/7. Why 24/5?
I don't know. That is a great question, and I do know the Nasdaq is also looking into tokenizing equities, so it's gonna happen. And they also mentioned 24/5. So I guess for the weekends, these guys need time to spend their money. You know what I'm saying? But nah, I'm just assuming. But at the same time, there's probably some federal regulations that won't allow them to do it. 24/7, 365. That's the benefit to crypto. I actually like the edge that crypto have, because we get real-time data how the market reacts to anything, whether it's a war, a black swan event, no matter what, crypto reacts first. And if it happens like on Friday night, which Trump tends to do a lot of fuckery on Friday night, crypto reacts instantly. It's another 48 plus hours until the market opens on Monday, and then it's a delayed reaction, and we already know what's going to happen. Just like D-Web called oil. I know, man, look, D-Web, resident trader, shout out to Web Ties, man, resident trader at ABC. He was like, yo, T, he's like, yo, oil going to go stupid Monday because, Iran, we attacked them Friday night. He was like, yo, oil going to go stupid. Oil went up 30% this week, so I know D-Web chilling. Shout out to D-Web. Web Ties, man. Yeah, man.
Oil baron.
Yes, sir, man. So that's alpha, man. Sometimes, crypto just gets the alpha first, man. It just is what it is. Just the nature of how this industry is set up. Real time.
No, that's true. And I mean, what the emphasis of crypto being, or this blockchain emphasizing ownership. So now does that mean we actually own those stocks, or is it just a quote tokenized version of it? Are we just saying it's tokenized since it's on blockchain? Do you actually own it? Since it's on Kraken, I don't think you own it anyway. So
nah, I do know from what Marlon explained it, it's investment contracts that are being tokenized, especially when it comes to like private companies. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, I know Marlon can get more technical, so we can actually ask him that as far as how are they classified, as far as ownership, because you do get your crypto tokens in your wallet. And the way Marlon explained it, yes, you do have these tokenized equities in your wallet as well. So they're not just like on the exchange. So say for instance, when you buy, you got a Robinhood account. It's your brokerage account and all your stocks is on there, right? But it's not technically your wallet where you can, let's say, spend your Yahoo stocks at Walmart. You can't cash. I mean, shit, somebody need to build that, man. I might have to speak to Chris and Van or Marlon like, hey, you know what I mean? Find a way where people can instantly just spend. I guess the only way you can do it is with tokenized, equities and stocks. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. that'll be a great way to do it, you know. And instead of having to be like, okay, now I got to cash out the stock on Robinhood, and if it's after hours, I can't get the money. But if it's tokenized, you can cash out. Then you can spend it, send it to your bank account, or send it to your Robinhood card, and they give you cash back rewards for spending, your cash on their card. So I can. That was a great question. Great question. We're gonna get into the weeds more, so more people can have clarity on tokenized equities. All right, but yeah, I appreciate that E3. All right. So I hope everybody is staying warm. I hoping everybody is staying dry because this weekend has been extremely rainy. You know what I'm saying? It's been hell on the roads out there this weekend. So I want everybody to stay safe. All right. So for people's visual pleasure, I gotta shout out some of the items that I got here. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't want to not talk about some of the stuff that I got at the crib. And every time at ABC, we was talking about Mint and Marquee, our 3D printing company. We got our Bitcoin Gnome over there. You know what I'm saying? We got the Bitcoin Gnome. We got our Mint and Marquee business sign. So we do custom 3D prints as well. We got the Doodles Fruit Loops box over there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Doodles Fruit Loops. Right next to me, I got my pudgy penguin. Got my trusty buddy here, my inflatable. You know what I'm saying? Holding me down. And on my right, I got the Bitcoin sign. So we are accepting Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start putting my Cash App tag up on this platform so y'all can just, hit your boy up, man. And it's greatly appreciated any donations that you send to our platform. And be on the lookout. We got that newsletter I'm cooking up. So there's one feature on the website, thecryptocrew.com. You hit that website, you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see we now have the ability to accept payments for our $5 a month newsletter that you're going to get weekly. Every week, you're going to get a newsletter highlighting everything that's going on in this space, only for $5 a month. All right? So super affordable. I wanted to make it super affordable for people. And for people who don't have the time, too long, didn't read, for all those people, you can just cop the newsletter, go straight to your email, and you can just figure out what's going on in this space, and I got a great setup for that. You know what I mean? So shout out to my platform, thecryptocrew.com, where you get your latest Web3 news. And on the end, we got that Pudgy Penguins vinyl toy over there. You know what I mean? So I'm a big fan of Pudgy Penguins. I got the Pengu token. That was airdropped to me in my Solana wallet just for my activity on the Solana chain. And last but not least, the Cause box set for Let God Sort Them Out that he designed for the clips. Man, shout out to Cause, man. That's a dope artist, man. Dope artist, man. All right. Now we're going to talk about some real sci-fi futuristic shit. All right. There's been several things that I'm going to tell y'all about that's happening in the AI space. One of the developers of OpenAI stepped down because of privacy and security risks. She had a whole tweet. You can look it up. It's on my thread. Then another developer, I believe from Anthropic, mentioned that their AI is about 15 to 20% conscious. So we crossed the threshold, even if it's 1% of being self-aware. We crossed the threshold. We're getting closer and closer to Skynet. And if you don't know what Skynet is, go ahead and check out the Terminator, because it's all about robots coming from the future trying to stop John Connor, who ends up becoming Neo in the Matrix. But if you don't know the connection from the Matrix to the Terminator, is I think a woman by the name of not Sylvia Robinson, Sylvia something, but she is the mother of the Matrix and the Terminator, and she actually wrote both of those scripts. She wrote those films. So that's how that is all connected. But this is ushering like this AI transhumanism shit, where there are certain humans that feel like we were born and created, humans were born and created to create artificial intelligence. It's some way spaced out sci-fi shit that these transhumanisms people like fucking Jeffrey Epstein believed in. You know what I'm saying? Like these motherfuckers wanted to play God. But what these scientists have done at cortical labs, let me say that correctly, the researchers at cortical labs have demonstrated a new form of biological computing by teaching a lab-grown human brain cells. Lab-grown human brain cells. I had to repeat that because this is crazy. They're growing human brain cells in a lab. That's sci-fi within itself. That's crazy. And they connected it to a computer chip to play the classic video game Doom. Yes, this is happening right now. This is fucking happening. It's not fake. Their system called CL1 uses about 200,000 living neurons grown on a silicone microchip that communicate with the software through electrical signals, allowing the cells to interpret game information and respond with actions like moving or firing. I'm looking into the camera, y'all, because I'm kind of in disbelief. I've read this before. I'm still in disbelief. It's just to even say this, that it's happening right now. It don't sound real, but it's fucking real. The experiment builds on earlier work where neurons learn to play Pong, and that's a way more primitive game. It's like a 2-bit video game, right? And we know Doom is a little bit more advanced. That's like 8-bit. So Pong, that was a major step because Doom, I don't know if you know what Pong is. Pong is literally a block on one side of the screen and a block on the left side of the screen, and there's one ball, and it's just like ping pong. It's literally like digital ping pong. So it's not a lot of graphics, nothing sophisticated. Well, it's a major step because Doom requires navigating a 3D environment and reacting to enemies in real time. Although the neural system still plays poorly and often fails in the game, sounds like a baby. When you first, a baby's first born, they don't have all of their functionality. They shit on themselves, everything. You got to feed them like this is what it sounds like. It sounds like this is an infant playing a video game. I want to see what these neurons, these 200,000 neurons that they created in a lab, I want to see how advanced this shit is going to be in 5 years from now. Okay, because it took a week for them to go from Pong to Doom. All right. Researchers say the neurons show basic learning behavior through feedback and adaptation. So that means it gets smart as it does more interactions and engagement. The breakthrough highlights the emerging field of wetware. This is a new term. Instead of software that they develop, code, like people like Marlon and Chris, they develop code, these numbers, fucking letters, creates apps. This is called wetware computing, where living brain cells are integrated with hardware to potentially create high energy efficient AI systems, new brain-computer interfaces, and advanced tools for neuroscience and robotics research. I'm going to tell you like this. I guarantee you Elon Musk is fucking doing backflips right now, yo. I know Elon Musk is doing backflips right now because he got Neuralink. And this is like the opposite of Neuralink. We know what Neuralink is. You're hooking up your brain, a living human brain, to somebody who's paralyzed, who can't move, but their brain is still functioning, and they hook it up to a computer and these microchips, and they're able to like play chess, and they're able to move things on the computer with their mind. Okay? Because our brains give off electrical signals. They were able to replicate this with these neurons, 200,000 neurons that they created in a fucking petri dish in a lab. I'm gonna get a little deep on y'all on this. In the article, it said it took about a week from learning how to play Pong to Doom, which is a 3D environment. And it says it still plays poorly. But think of it as a child, as a baby. The more the kid develops and grows, understands its environment, okay, it becomes more sophisticated and engaging in the world, in understanding and comprehension. So this artificial brain, it's not even like a full brain, but these neurons, it's gonna get smarter the more stuff you give it. But this is where it gets deep for me. Think about this. You go to a home and garden place and you get a packet of seeds. The seeds for, let's say, a mango tree. The seed already contains the full embodiment of the tree, but the seed is the most primitive form of it being to, evolve. It's the first step is the seed. This is like the seed. And if you take a part of a brain, this is how I think the world and the universe operates. In the most minute, smallest thing, you're going to find the whole. It's just like the seed. If you take a seed for a pine tree, the seed already has everything in it, the DNA that knows it's going to be a full-blown tree one day. It's already in the DNA. It's already in the composition. Even in the smallest amount of it, it still can be a fucking 150-foot tree in a couple hundred years or whatever. It's all there. As above, so below. All right? So that's a Hermetic principle. But I just wanted to put things in perspective for my listeners and viewers that this breakthrough is just the beginning. And I feel like there's going to be more sophisticated tasks and things that this brain, this part of a brain, these only 200 neurons, once you give it more tools, give it AI because it already incorporating some features of AI. This can be our Frankenstein, and we don't know what the fuck this shit is going to be. Because it learned it on its own. What if you give it something more sophisticated, like a game of chess? How smart it will be after just playing the game of chess. Let it read the Bitcoin white paper. Hell, you never know. I know that was long and drawn out, but I just was so fascinated by this story, and this is like some real futuristic movie shit. So I gotta ask my guy E3 or anybody else who has any other thoughts or questions on this particular story. E3, what's your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, firstly, Joe said he's trying to become a speaker. I don't know if you see his request or not.
I have him as a speaker too. That's funny. You remember under your profile, you're still under listener and Joe is under speaker. So I don't know. Something is trippy right now. Let me go ahead and just invite Joe as a speaker. I'll send him another request so he can jump up there.
But yeah, I mean, as you're doing that, I think that this is when you were talking about that crazy, this is a pretty interesting concept, and then the idea you were talking about is something crazy I was thinking about too. This kind of reminds me of this video game called Soma, where it's like these AI intelligent things start getting access to like human like flesh and stuff, and then they start taking advantage of that and like building up some super hive mind and shit like that. But I think it's pretty cool to see the artificial intelligence already learning how to play Doom, and it's not even been alive or whatever we call this for like a month. It's just, well, we don't know how long it's been alive for, but the fact that it's able to learn how to play this game already is pretty interesting. I know people have already put Doom on like potatoes and like little radio screens, but to see now some brain matter learning how to control and shoot enemies and like see the 3D environment, I think that's pretty interesting and a huge breakthrough in technology. And as for wetware, yeah, this is my first time ever hearing this concept. I'm just wondering now, yeah, what is this going to look like 5 to 10 years from now? Like, is this going to create some advancements for us to like have some super tech that we can wear on our clothes, or like my mind doesn't even process what this looks like for the future, but I'll just say I'm excited for it for sure.
Man, E3, I appreciate your thoughts and your concerns and your perspective and letting me know that my co-host been trying to get on. So on my end, the shit look crazy, but I got Tia I invited to get up to speak, and I invited Cheeze to get up to speak because I know she's been trying to get on. So we're having technical
Can you hear
difficulties.
me?
All right, good. Cheeze, good. Yes, sir. We can hear you, man. The floor is yours. And any topics that we went through that you want to share your thoughts on, go ahead, brother. How you doing, man? First of all, how you doing? Good to hear you back on the spaces, brother.
What's up, everybody? I'm good. I was on a cruise with my family. It's my mom's favorite thing to do, so I was joining her and my dad on that. But now I'm back, and it feels good to be back. I was there a lot of topics that I'm trying to remember which I wanted to say.
All right, I can give you a quick rundown.
I think I got them all. Figuratively speaking. So going back to the stablecoin thing, right? I think that's cool because like Elijah said, like the Citycoin thing was a test run, and if you really want to get into like the word stable, right? The goal here is to have some level of like stabilization or means of transportation value in the midst of chaos like we're experiencing right now, right? We need more stable assets, and these stable assets needs to be able to disconnect from the world's chaos. And so the tech is becoming a solution, right? And states will be able to employ that at their granular levels, cities at their granular levels, right? And that would be interesting. I think this comes down to like what Elijah said, is like what rules and regulations do they tie around that? Like, okay, you can use it for this, you can use it for that, right? Walking the line without it becoming a CBDC. I think the key point there was just how they let private companies play in that field at a state level, because then, if you have a private company that can issue a stable coin, or if a state can work with or a city can work with a local company that is, like let's say a Project Pi, then that would be cool, right? Because now you have a Project Pi that working with the city of Atlanta and issuing a stable coin, right? And so things like that give me hope for the future. And then the next thing I was going to say, I'll just jump ahead to this AI talk. One of my favorite movies is Ghost in the Shell. I don't know. Does anybody here know what else Ghost in the Shell is?
Hell yeah, Cheese. That's my shit. That was like the second anime shit that I ever seen in my life, bro.
Okay, yeah. So I've seen all the episodes of Ghost, all the movies, Ghost in the Shell, right? And like that, the world that is, right? The main character, she is uh humanoid,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Like she's not human at all. She's 100% android, and her conscious is was implanted into her, like uh, into her like her computer brain, basically. And she had this one scene where she goes diving into like water, and she does that often to just see if she would drown, right? And what would it feel like to feel the pressure of water in her on her body to test the limits. So when we talked about like the wetware, part of that kind of led me to that. But wetware has also been something that I've known to been experimenting for a minute now because of the electricity opportunities that comes with water and the ability to basically at the end of the day charge or provide conduits for information to be passed along. So I think that's interesting. Now we're going to see more of this type of stuff take place, but I think it's just all par for the course because we already have robotics, right? And we have we're just seeing different ways of these things being experimented, and how can we bring the integration more to life, right? I think it's really a conversation more of integration, meaning like how can we integrate this into human, right? Water would help. I've seen some I saw one article a couple weeks ago about these it's like it utilizes air, but it's like it has bumps. It's something that was being made in Korea, but the plastic like it's like the same plant plastic that we can absorb into our body. They're uniquely designed where as you blow air, the feet move. The pockets of air are at the right parts of the plastic. That as the air goes through it, it like creates a motion. So like if you imagine your fingers like playing piano, like 1, 2, and then the back is going like 3, 4. So it's like in a cadence by which when air is inserted in the correct motion, and when air is inserted, the feet move in the correct motion, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the tubing moves forward. And the application that was being proposed for is for medical, right? You could clear out blood clots and stuff like that, or you could do like very, very, very minute surgeries. But at the end of the day, like that could just be a way of implanting robots that could carry or signal information from different parts of our bodies to other parts of our bodies because nerve ends are breaking, right? So like your entire body could just become like a Bluetooth network, and that was kind of the same situation that Neuralink was based upon. The Bluetooth like idea of like you would be able to connect your brain from Bluetooth to the like computer. So I think the key outside of the fact, and then one more thing to mention too, like the three students at Spelman that just shout out to them that have been able to like hook up devices to plants and get the data off of them and then send that to ChatGPT. I think that's another example of how whatever developments are happening right now, they don't have to become too sophisticated, right? They don't have to become sophisticated as us. They just need to become sophisticated enough to capture information and send it to AI, which is already more sophisticated. So, like AI, to your point, T.Gold, that you were mentioning earlier, will it's so sophisticated now that this new being, let's call it a being, right, like a pet or some other thing, can talk to the AI and tell the AI what to do. So that part could be interesting as well in the future. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Nah, Cheeze, you brought up a lot of great points, man, and especially having when you were talking about different parts of our body will be able to be using signals, electrical signals, almost like nanobots, doing like you said, get rid of blood clots and shit like that. Like that's just so wild to me. But yeah, we need AI in the medical field, and we need robotics in the medical field. We need more advancements in the medical field, just in general. But so you made me look at it from a different perspective because I definitely was a little freaked out over this. But you when you brought it to the medical, and it's a great segue to Tia because shout out to DocuHero. I'm sure Tia got some dope thoughts on all of this as well too. And for those who didn't catch all of the topics, I just posted all of the topics in the Xbox, so you can go ahead and look at the comments. So if there's anything that you might have missed or things that you want to just have any dialogue on, just go ahead and look at the comments and share your thoughts. NFTia, what's going on? How you feeling? Floor is yours, baby.
How's it going? How's it going? Yeah, like me, like Cheeze, I have been trying to comment on a few other topics, but I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. It's good to be back on the TCK show once again. One of the things that I wanted to circle back to was the stablecoin thing. I forget the actual topic, but you guys were talking about stablecoins, and Cheeze touched up on it, the Florida bill. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if you guys are aware. I think I put in a few group chats that Georgia has a bill on the table right now, and it's 1272, I believe. SB 1272. Don't quote me on it or whatever. But it is a stable coin push. But it's a continuation from the Stablecoin Act, essentially, right? And so in that Stablecoin Act that was passed earlier this year, last year, the Georgia bill is on the foot or the heel of that bill. And essentially that bill stated that states could basically regulate stable coins as an entity within their state perimeter. That's why you see Florida pushing it, and now Georgia has one that's 25% passed, essentially. And I still haven't completely dove deep into this particular bill and what it means, but I do know from what I can view and hear is that essentially like businesses are registered at a state level, and then you also have to have like local stuff like that. Like they are going to be able to issue local stablecoin certificates, so to speak. And one of the things I believe, again, this is all I only got the glaze through, right? So one of the things that you're gonna have to be able to show proof of, like, whatever they deem to be a compatible asset to back it. You have to show proof. They could basically run up in your establishment or i.e. books and verify that what you're doing and what you say you have, and things of that nature. So it's really being able to govern it from a smaller level. So I believe that they know that once the stable coins are released, it gives a lot of people a lot of flexibility, and they know that they're going to have governing rails, very granular governing rails, especially when you talk about like rewards programs such as DocuHero, which is a segue, such as DocuHero. If I wanted to issue a stable reward for heroes who use the platform and blah blah blah. I would have to I would have to have a state certificate and adhere to all state guidelines.
Nah, Tia, first I gotta say, happy Women's History Month. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm so glad that, we got you up on the pod today, And I appreciate you highlighting what Georgia is doing. So we have to be aware of this, and thank you for putting that in the group chat and bringing that to our attention. Because yeah, we might have to go through this bill that they presented, and see if we can apply any pressure on things that might not be favorable to our industry, because these people in Georgia, man, these politicians, they may not know what they're looking at. They may not know all of the terminology and some of the concepts that are in this bill. So we might have a better idea of what's going on than they do, So I'm glad that you brought that up, but I definitely gonna want to go through that and thoroughly see what issues and concerns we might have, or some of the positive, benefits of what they're trying to do with a stable coin in Georgia. So, Tia, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, and I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you pulled up today, ma'am, because it's Women History Month, man. It's only right that we have to have the original co-host, pull through today. And I apologize to you and Cheeze because, like I said, the technical issues on my end, like they had Cheeze already as a speaker when I guess he was a listener, and I didn't even see half of these people in the room. So I was having a lot of technical difficulties on my end on everybody's statuses, but I'm glad I was able to get y'all up here and share your thoughts. But if there's any other comments that y'all want to make on any other stories that we talked about earlier, just go ahead and glance at the comments and you'll see some of the articles, and you go ahead and share your thoughts.
Yeah, I guess the one other comment that I had was about when you were talking a bit about AI and the war stuff, and then how just how, and he kind of went into like the Epstein stuff, and let me just get one conspiracy in. They say Ghislaine Maxwell was one of the biggest contributors to Reddit in its early days, to the point where like a lot of like when they fed a lot of AI, a lot of like the Reddit information, she's like one of like essentially her contributions in Reddit played a big role in AI reasoning. And not to be all down the rabbit hole with the conspiracy theories, but we were just there, and so that was one I was just going to just toss out there. You can do what you want with that information, but a lot of AI was trained from Reddit, which was essentially, the thoughts of that whole encampment. So.
Yo, thank you for that, Tia, because man, this is the second time Ghislaine Maxwell was brought up being affiliated with something that most of us had no idea. And I don't know if y'all know who she's related to, but basically, you know how we got like the Rupert Murdoch, basically like the biggest media dude in the United States? Well, her father is the equivalent in the UK and just Europe in general. I believe her family is one of the most prestigious families when it comes to like media. But I heard she can speak like 6 different languages. She as well was another brilliant, sick, twisted motherfucker. So for her being on the Shadow 9/11 Commission, and for her having some backroom dealings with Reddit and AI and her influence, this shit just keeps getting fucking crazier. I got another one for y'all, but I got my guy Tia. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Her dad, Maxwell, he's responsible for the books that we read growing up. Like his company was the publishing company for basically all of the public schools in America, by the way. So she trained the AI and her father trained us.
Tia, Yo, I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna let Easy Money speak. But man, the reason why that's even so much more crazier is because the Rockefeller family had a hand in our educational system. So basically, the Rockefeller name keep getting popped up. Ghislaine Maxwell's family, if they publishing books that basically has been mandated by the Rockefeller family to help indoctrinate us. Oh my God, yo, this is, yo, the rabbit hole is so crazy when it comes to this fucking Epstein shit and how linked they were to so many different industries. It's fucking disturbing. Easy Money, what's going on, brother, man? Yo, I appreciate your patience and share your thoughts on any of the topics that we spoke about earlier, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Episode 108, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to the TCK and everybody else. No, I think a few things I wanted to speak on. The Penguin drama was interesting because I seen it happen real time Friday. I was actually doing like a learning session with somebody, showing them Pump Fun, and then I was on Pump, and then I seen it around like whatever. I think it was like the time was like a 300K market cap. I was like, what is this, Peggy Penguin? It's like, what is a Peggy? And I just looked it up, saw the chart. I said, oh, this might actually do something. Then I started doing my research, and I'm like, oh shit, Pudgy's got sued. So that was interesting because that's how I get my news. Is definitely from crypto and from Twitter, which is crazy, but it is what it is. And then the Doom thing is crazy too. Similar to that, again, the meme coin, and that Pudgy went up to like 2.5 mil after I seen it like 300K. I didn't buy. I was very cautious. I did not buy, but the second, the Doom thing. So I seen Doom at probably like, they had a token for it, came out like 300K is when I seen it around. Seen that thing go up to a couple milli this morning. And I thought that was crazy too though, because just the fact that they're literally using brain cells in a petri dish to play a video game is crazy. That's nonsensical. Definitely simulation like. And then as we talk about all this APY and stuff and yield and stable coins and how they pulled the musical chairs and how the music is over for now. No shill in NFA, of course, but you could comfortably stake Seeker, the Solana Seeker token, SKR is the ticker. You could stake that and get 20% chilling right now. I think it was crazy that was launched in a bear market. I think that's one of the best gifts that could be for us in our time right now. But yeah, y'all, just wanted to pop on here, say what up as I do, and then TCK.
Yo, B, I appreciate all of that, man. I definitely do, man, because I saw those same two tokens, and I had the alpha on the fucking, because I saw the article when they fucking, the Pudgy Penguins got sued by Original Penguin. So for those that don't know, that is the last story. I did put it in the Xbox because I didn't know if we could have time to get to it. So I'm glad that you had a chance to read that. But I'm going to catch everybody else up on this particular article now that you mention it. So once I read off this article, feel free to share your thoughts on any other article outside of this as well too, man, because like I said, with technical difficulties, man. I wish I would have got y'all up here earlier, man. But nevertheless, I'm glad y'all still was able to share your thoughts and be here today with your boy, man. Thank y'all, man. I got my OG co-host back together today. You know what I mean? Or remotely. So like B mentioned, man, yeah. All right. Peggy is, it's a token that was made out of merging these two logos together. So it's the outline of the original penguin, and it's like the color scheme of the Pudgy Penguin with some of its features. It's like a crude drawing of a Pudgy Penguin. It's funny as shit. But this is the token that B is referring to, and the Doom token that he's referring to was created once the story broke about basically these 200,000 neurons playing fucking Doom and somebody launched a token. We know the narrative. We are in this space. We know when there's some degen information that comes in the fucking news, especially in the crypto space. All we gotta do is just wait for that token to launch on fucking DexScreener. Just go on DexScreener if there's a instant fucking tweet that comes out when it's like an hour old, like, yo, it's some breaking news. Yeah, I be seeing it. So I'm in the same boat as B. I saw that token, the Peggy token, didn't jump on it, should have jumped on it, and I saw the Doom shit. I saw the Doom, I should have been jumped on it. So I played myself. But, like I said, I'm not big on meme coins, but I be having the alpha. So I share all of this with y'all because this is not financial advice. This is only for educational entertainment purposes only. But we be giving y'all some alpha, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Even I don't make a move on every play that's talked about on this space because it's just so much shit going on. You know what I mean? But please be safe fucking with the meme coins. And those are some coins to keep your eye on. But I am going to deep dive on this original penguin brand that has hit Pudgy Penguins with a trademark infringement lawsuit. So, the company behind the original penguin clothing brand, so this is a subsidiary of Perry Ellis International. So Perry Ellis, man, y'all need to focus on collaboration instead of competition, all right? So, they filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against the Web3 project Pudgy Penguins in a Florida federal court, claiming the NFT's brand, penguin-themed merchandise, and trademarks are confusingly similar to its decades-old apparel branding, which is a fucking crock of shit. It's a crock of shit. If you're watching me live, you can see this cute fucking penguin I got right next to me who's, you know, my physical co-host for me today, but we talking about the article right now, and if you Google the original penguin, they don't look nothing fucking alike, all right? So this was a stretch. This is what we call a stretch in the hood, all right? So the plaintiff says that it has used the penguin logo since 1956 and registered the penguin trademark in 1967, giving it a long-standing rights in the clothing industry, and argues that Pudgy Penguin expansion into apparel and accessories, along with trademark filings like Pengu Nation, could mislead consumers and dilute its brand identity. First of all, I don't know nobody rocking that fucking brand. I don't know anybody I've ever seen rocking the original Penguin brand unless it was like some OG in like a Kango. I don't see no, that brand is not lit. Nobody is gonna fucking confuse a crude drawing from like the 1950s of a fucking penguin to a bright pastel, clean line. Pudgy Penguins is spelt different. Everything is totally fucking different. These motherfuckers is stretching, but I guarantee you what they trying to do, they probably gonna settle out of court and they gonna rebrand and partner with the fucking Pudgy Penguin. That's what the fuck they gonna do. I guarantee you that shit because they playing themselves. So the lawsuit seeks to block the NFT company from using similar marks, destroying, infringing merchandise, which, like I said, there's nothing to compare it to. Reject certain trademark applications and potentially award damages, while Pudgy Penguins has responded that its branding targets a different market and that it intends to defend its IP as the case moves forward. Original Penguins, man. Let me tell y'all something. If I go on CoinMarketCap right now and look at the market cap of Pudgy Penguins, the Pengu token, it's probably worth more than this fucking original penguin company that been around since 1956. I'm sorry. It probably has. I mean, Perry Ellis is the parent company, so Perry Ellis might be worth more, but y'all motherfuckers is reaching, man. Y'all listen, man. Just embrace Web3. Just don't fight it. Just don't fight it. You know what I'm saying? Just don't fight it. Hey, yo, who else got thoughts? Who else got questions? Who else got perspective on the Pudgy Penguin getting hit with this lawsuit from the original Penguins brand?
Hey, now that I got some context, I actually we can't throw too much shade on the original Penguin brand because I used to fuck with them heavy.
Oh, my bad,
Back when
Cheeze. My bad, Cheeze. I gotta put some respect on the Penguin name. All right, respect to the original Penguins. Yo, you know what? I think I kind of remember seeing a lot of Caribbean people rocking the original Penguin when they was rocking like the Clarks and shit like that, the Wallaby Clarks and shit. Word up.
I don't know about that. So I used to travel for work a lot, and then I used to see their brand in the airports. So I was just stopping there, and the penguin is like in my top 3 favorite animals. So I was always a big supporter of penguins, wherever they at. So I copped some original penguin merch. I had a tie and I had a shirt, had a dress shirt of the original penguin. But yeah, the logo is nothing, looking like Pudgy. But like I agree with what you're saying. It might just lead to might just be marketing that leads to a collaboration. But yeah, don't sleep on the original penguins.
My bad, Cheese. I faded the Penguin. Hey, yo, Cheese. I faded that shit like a motherfucker, Doug. Like I swear it was only like, some OGs in the Caribbean that was really really rocking that shit. Like matter of fact, I do kind of remember them producing like luggage or like fucking umbrellas or some shit too, right? Am I wrong about that?
I have no clue. I just know I saw a tie and a shirt that I liked, so I bought it. I fuck with the animal penguins, but I don't really know much about this brand. I just know I bought the clothes from there.
All right, respect due, Paul. Word up.
Yo, T.Gold.
Go ahead, E3.
Nah, I read the article too, and I was thinking that it was kind of like this was definitely a stretch for sure. Like, I saw they said the PEI, whatever, the Penguin Company, they said it is likely that consumers will mistakenly believe that defendant is connected, associated, or some way affiliated with the Penguin Company with that logo. And they said when in fact no such connection, association, or affiliation exists. I was thinking that they just sound jealous or something that Pudgy Penguin is getting all this traction and like how fast they're growing as a brand compared to theirs. So it's like, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, they're just trying to somehow stop them from being in the limelight and take advantage of it. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna end up fair for the other company because yeah, they don't look anything alike. They're just pulling shit up out of nowhere.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna Google right quick. What's the net worth of the original Penguin brand? Right. So it's probably held by Perry Ellis in the Perry Ellis portfolio. So basically, you can't invest in that company. But it looks like the annual revenue is $66 million for the original Penguin brand. Okay. Now, I'm going to CoinMarketCap and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go down to Pengu to see what the market cap of Pengu is, which is the token for the Pudgy Penguin brand. $400 million. And shout out to Luca Nets because this brand is only like what, 4, maybe 5 years old? I'm gonna say like 4 years old. Let's say 4 to 5 years old. Compared to a company that's been around since 1956. Yo, listen, man, y'all need to get with the program, bro. Y'all need to get with the program. Partner up with Pudgy Penguin because they will help your brand. And like she said, if y'all got some articles, of clothing that might be a little, wavy, y'all might be Web3 wavy. Y'all need to get on board. Y'all be able to step your merch game up. You know what I'm saying? Word up. So Cheeze, I appreciate you giving us that real time info on just the style in the appeal to that brand. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that, man. Who else got thoughts on this, man? Who else got thoughts on this? Or the actual tokens that B mentioned, man. You know, we got the Doom token out there, and we got the Peggy token out there, you know. Um, Thoughts, questions? All right. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. It is Women's History Month. So Tia, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Tia put together. I mentioned to her last year that we need a Women in Web3 panel, and I think we overdue. So hopefully, before this month is out, if Tia can work her magic to try to gather up some powerful women in Web3, because we know some powerful women. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of women in this space. We shouted them out earlier, but let's try to get a panel. Let's try to get a panel, another one of women in Web3 in the month of March, in particular this month, because it is Women's History Month. You know what I'm saying? So if you could pull that off, Tia, that'd be super phenomenal. But no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. You heard? So
I work on it.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So shout out to all the women in Web3. And like I said again, shout out to NFTia, shout out to Bleu, shout out to Cash, shout out to Nia, Gia, Ashayla, Ashay, Ashley. Man, there's so many women in this space, man. I know I'm forgetting some names too, man. Shout out to Marlon's wife Meg too, man. She brought the kids out, man. The kids is getting grown, man. So shout out to Meg and Marlon and his beautiful family, man. I love to see, his wife come out and support him, man. So even though technically she's not in Web3, she's supporting somebody who's a major developer in this space, who is Marlon Williams, man. Shout out to Big Dog, man. So yeah, man. If there isn't any other thoughts or comments that people want to share, we going on 2 hours strong. I'm broadcasting live from the crib. We got a surprise for y'all in another couple of weeks. I won't be broadcasting from the crib. This is just temporary. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have a new setup. We're gonna have a whole new podcasting look. You know what I'm saying? So be on the lookout for that. Because 2026, everything is switching up. You know what I'm saying? ABC, they had their very first session, Off the Chain Thursdays, at the Rice Center. And again, shout out to NFTia for hooking up that ETH Global event that we got. We got a happy hour that's going on, and that's on March 19th at the Rice Center, hosted by ABC and ETH Global. So I'm looking forward to that event. That's going to be pretty dope. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to actually post that. I'm going to post that before I hang this session up. So I'm going to go ahead, go to my files right quick. I'm going to copy this so we can get this thing popping. So if anybody wants to register for this event, all right, shout out to ETH Global and NFTia. Do you want to, I don't know if you want, you don't have to tell us your method on getting this thing done, but can you tell us anything about how you were able to accomplish this and to get this, what we do in front of ETH Global?
I won't share any secret sauce, but what I will say is it's almost always through Marlon's connections, and right now we're in a builder season, right? And so everything that you see coming out of ABC moving forward, I think it's going to have a heightened sense from a builder's perspective, and really shipping strong projects and making sure those projects have the eyes and ears to really succeed. I think that's the direction, and Marlon spoke on this even on Thursday to some degree. And so I think just it's just the evolution of our hard work. And Marlon always says this as well. They're watching us. They know who we are. They see what we do, and eventually they're going to start to want to work closely with us, and you can. I mean, we know ETH Global. ETH Global from like some of the hackathons. What came out of there? The early ideas of Aave, Uniswap, Safe, and so many other dope projects came out of ETH Global, and it's the community leg, but also development leg of Ethereum, the ETH community. So it's dope to be able to have our first collaborative event.
Fire, Tia. Fire. I'm gonna give you, man. I gotta get my sound effects right, man. I can't wait till we, get everything situated. Cause I gotta get the sound effects going. I need air horns. I need all of that. I need bombs dropping. I need all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? But nah, Tia, that is super dope, and I'm glad that you were able to, get the ball rolling and lock it in. You know what I'm saying? And we here, man. And I'm looking forward to the evolution of ABC. I can't wait for y'all. Oh, shout out to everybody who pulled up to the Right Center, because there was more people than I thought that was gonna show up. And the traffic was kind of ugly. I know it's downtown. It's off of Northside Drive. So I think Marlon said we're going to be doing from 6 to 10, just because of just the time wise and how hard it is for people to get down there. I think he said it took him over an hour. And I think, Tia, you said it took you over an hour to get down there too. A lot of people stayed north of the city. So going to another facility that's further south, and it's in more traffic. So yeah, I think 6 to 10 is a great time slot too. And the Right Center got other areas, man. So be on the lookout for Terminus event. I know we're gonna have some Terminus events there. I know we're gonna have some there. That shit is. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for more ABC events. I can't wait for more Catching the Vibe, TCK media events. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get this shit cooking, y'all. It's right down the block from the bookstore gallery. We got some. Oh, and before I go, I gotta pull up some of these 3D printed items that we doing for the World Cup, y'all. So if y'all wanna take a look, y'all can look on the IG and look on the Twitter. But I'm only gonna show y'all 3 because the other one, I gotta assemble it, but that one is fly. That one is fly too. So for your visual pleasure, the first thing I'm gonna show y'all, we got this 3D printed World Cup keychain, and this shit is super official, y'all. So I'm holding it up to the camera, you know what I'm saying? So this is one of the items that we're gonna have for the people coming in town for the World Cup. All right, and I got a bigger version, you know what I mean? So the people who really want to flex got another World Cup trophy. We might spray paint this one gold, so I'm debating. I gotta ask my business partner how we gonna do on this one here, but I just want to print this out as a test print. But one of the dopest ones, man, Lionel Messi. I got a Lionel Messi blue marble bust in my hand. Man, it says Messi on the back. It got the Adidas stripes. It got a soccer ball under him. His hair is combed right. His beard is on point. It got his number. Like, this shit is fly, yo. I'm telling you like this, man. We are getting World Cup ready. If y'all not getting World Cup ready, I don't know what to tell y'all, man, because there's going to be a lot of money that's going to be coming into the city. So I suggest any business that you have, any ideas, I'm cooking up t-shirts and 3D printed items. So, and we throwing events. So even if it's just events, we got to get this shit popping. Avalanche, they teamed up with FIFA, and they're doing tokenized FIFA tickets. Like, yo, we got the World Coin store down in Ponce City Market. So I feel like, there's some synchronicity there with the World Cup and the World Store. We should be able to, put something together over there. That'll be phenomenal, man. So I'm just looking forward to it. The weather breaking, you know what I'm saying? Ladies was out this weekend. Cheeks was out. Shout out to all the ladies with the cheeks out this weekend, man, because it was like 82 degrees out there. And that was, man, y'all was showing out. So I'm happy about that. I'm looking forward to the spring. And thank you to everybody who was able to tap in today, man. Shout out to both my co-hosts. Shout out to E3. Shout out to NFTia. Shout out to Just Cheeze. These are my people, man. Shout out to my guy, Easy Money, with the meme coin calls, man. We still got the meme coin corner over here. So, we still got the meme calls. So put those on the radar, man. Just at least throw them on your watch list so you can see how they do. All right. And I also put in that Luma link if you want to register for that March 19th event at the Rice Center. So yeah, y'all. It's been another dope Sunday. You know what I mean? I want y'all to get out there, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your family, enjoy your food. All right. And yo, Monday, back to the grind, y'all. Back to the grind. I got some more video clips I'm going to be uploading. Looking forward to that, man. More 3D printed items. Looking forward to cooking that up. And looking forward to being at the Rice Center, seeing more of my ABC family, man. So appreciate everybody, man. Thank y'all for y'all time. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here today getting this Web3 alpha, getting locked in. And I want to play music for y'all on Twitter, but everybody else on Instagram and YouTube, I got to say sayonara because I don't want no more copyright issues, you know what I mean? So I can monetize my content. And we are going to Rumble. We are going to Patreon. I'm going to put all this content on there. And yeah, man. It's more avenues to put this Web3 dope on, you heard? So it's your boy T.Gold, episode 108 of the TCK Web3 News Roundtable. All right, so we're going to go out with a song. I think I'm going to go out with my guy Stove Guard. Stove Guard got a joint with Swiss Beats that's pretty fire right now. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to play that on the sign off. And let's go. This your boy T-Gold. I'm out. Peace.